Well, Hootie, it's all over here tonight at John Paul Jones Arena, Virginia, falling in a shocking kind of fashion tonight to Florida State, 63-60. And what can you say about this game? To me, it was a little bit reminiscent of the ACC tournament meltdown, a game I know Virginia fans aren't going to want to remember from last year's tournament against Miami. Tonight, they blow an 11-point lead, I think, in the final 4+ minutes. Your thoughts on what you saw here tonight?
Yeah, Mike Scott even mentioned that in the post-game interview down in the interview room, that it was the same kind of feeling as the Miami loss in the tournament. He said that one was worse, of course, because they blew a 10-point lead in 44 seconds. But so this one took a little longer to blow, but they just didn't execute down the stretch. And you got to give Florida State a lot of credit. They hung in there and made a lot of tough shots when they had to.
That Bernard James flagrant foul call was such a sort of pivotal moment in the game. At that point, Virginia goes up by 11 when it's all said and done after the free throws for the flagrant foul. Bernard James gets ejected, and you kind of feel like there's no way Virginia's going to lose this game. They seemed like they were in the driver's seat, but looking back on it now, it's almost like Florida State used the play to their advantage and got a little energized and hyped up, and that's when the game just really turned in their favor after the James ejection.
Well, they did, and Leonard Hamilton said as much. He said that his players did use that as a rallying point, that we can still win this game even though we've lost our big guy, and to their credit, they did. I mean, they sent Scott to the line for two free throws, two technical free throws there. Virginia got the ball, and then their other guy, White, fouled out, and he got two more free throws. Virginia went up by 11 at that point. And
you felt good about it if you were Virginia.
I think everybody felt good about it, except Mike Scott said later that he didn't feel good about it. He kept telling his teammates, don't let up, keep going after him, this game's not over. And certainly he called that. But Virginia, Virginia just couldn't get him the ball the rest of the way, the last 4.5 minutes. I don't know. I can't even remember if he got a touch, but he certainly didn't get a shot because they were funning him, doubling him, hacking at him, everything else. He still got ACC career high 28 points, but 2 less than what they needed.
Yeah, terrible way
Three
to go.
Less.
Terrible way to go out for him and Sammy Zaglinski, who missed the half-court heave there at the buzzer, and then Hassan, who didn't play. Not the way they want to go out. Now they go to Maryland on Sunday, Hoots, and what do you think? What do they have to do now, NCAA tournament-wise here? Sitting where they are, 8-7. Do you think that this is a must-win as we head into College Park for Sunday's game?
It certainly won't hurt to win. You talk to some bracketologists, and they think that they had Virginia an 8th seed going into tonight. It's hard to imagine that they'll tumble completely out of the 37 at-large field, even if they do lose at Maryland. But I wouldn't take any chances because you never know what can happen in those committee rooms. But I think that they might still be in, even though they could finish 8-8. But I sure wouldn't want to take any chances on it.
Certainly a 3-game losing streak if they were to lose that game, and then if they were to lose in the ACC tournament, the selection committee usually looks at that as well. They want teams that are playing their best. And not only would Virginia in that scenario not be playing their best, but you look at how shorthanded they are, which is something else we didn't touch on tonight.
I was going to ask you about what your feelings were on Malcolm Brogdon not playing, and it looks like, who knows if he'll play again this season.
Gee, can you be any more sort of evasive than Tony was in that post-game press conference? I mean, he was asked about the status of Malcolm, and he gave sort of a strange answer that sort of led everybody in the room to believe that Hassan and Malcolm won't probably, I took it at least, as they won't be playing again this year. I mean, was that kind of how you read that?
Yeah, I agree. He said something to the effect that I'll address Malcolm and Hassan at the appropriate time, and we were kidding around in the press room with the writers later. What's the appropriate time? And I pitched in after the season's over because it sounds like that's what it's going to be.
And with only 7 bodies in that case, I mean, that's tough. I mean, to win with that short of your depth is so huge at this time of year. And you saw it tonight how Florida State, their depth is really good. And even when James went out, they didn't miss, too much. Other guys were there to pick up the slack.
Yeah, Florida State had 8 guys that scored in the first half and 10 guys that played, and Virginia only had 7 guys, I think, that played in the whole game. So, yeah, can you imagine having to try to win 3 or 4 games in the ACC tournament with 7 guys? That's some tall orders there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks, Hoots, for the great analysis, and I guess we'll look forward to Sunday's game, the regular season finale, and then go down to Atlanta for the ACC tournament. Any parting thoughts here?
No, I just think it's tough that they were 0-5 against the top 3 teams in the league. I don't know what that's going to say about them if it does come down to a bubble situation. But if I were them, I would get everything I can between now and Selection Sunday.
You know who might scream bloody murder if UVA should lose out and then make the tournament is Virginia Tech fans. Because I mean,
VCU fans.
If you looked at Virginia Tech's resume some of these last few years when they didn't make it, I mean, was it that much worse or better than UVA's? I'm not so sure. But then you brought up an interesting point that the overall field could maybe not be as strong this year as maybe it was in past years.
Yeah, every year is different, and they look at things completely different every year. So, and with 37 at-large teams for the first time ever, it's hard to find 37 really good teams out there.
Well, Virginia fans are certainly hoping that holds true. Well, thanks, Hoots, and we'll see everybody next time here on the Insider.
See you Sunday at College Park.